Good morning, students. Now we are going to discuss about the functions. So one of the most important topic in the C language concepts, that is the functions. So from the beginning we discussed about the functions, right? So why? Because the C program itself, it starts with a function only. Okay, without function we cannot write a C program. So as of now we have written several programs. In all those programs we are going to use multiple functions, right? So among them, one of the major function is main. So what is a main? Main is a function which is compulsory required for writing any C program. Without main function we cannot write any C program, right? Is it or not? So here main is a function. So function means, what is a function? Function is a block of code to perform specific task. Already we discussed several times, right? So block of code, block means, so we are going to consider some set of statements as a block. Set may consist one or more statements. So these statements are used to perform a specific task. Specific task in the sense, so particular task. So that particular task is going to be solved by a function. So here the function can be classified into two categories: library functions and user defined functions. Yes or no? So library functions already you have used, like printf, scanf. Yes or no? So and string, recently we discussed about the string functions like string length, string reverse, string concatenation. So those are all the library functions already available in the library directly. By including such libraries, we are able to use such functions. So such functions are library functions. Suppose if we do printf or scanf function, what is a printf? Printf is a function which is used to print the output to the standard output device, right? So here, who has developed this printf? Already someone has developed. Then the code details are available in the stdio.h. Whenever you are going to include the stdio.h, then what is the feasibility you are going to get? You are able to use the printf and scanf functions, right? So that is the advantage you are getting from the library functions. So library functions are predefined functions. That means already they are developed by the compiler itself. Directly we are going to include such header files, and by including such header files we are able to use the functions. So such functions are library functions. And another kind of functions are user defined functions. What are the user defined functions? User is going to define the functions as per our convenience, as per our requirement. Then what we are going to do, we are going to define the function, and such function is going to satisfy our needs or fulfill our task. Okay, whatever the task if you want to do, that task is going to be fulfilled with the help of user defined functions. Then what is the use of user defined function or function? So the major concept of function is, the function is supports reusability. What it supports? Reusability. So reusability in the sense, what is the meaning of reusability? What is the meaning of reusability? So that if you write once, we can use it for multiple number of times. So writing once and using multiple number of times. So that is the major advantage we are going to get from the functions. So here if you find here reusability. What is reusability? Suppose if you made it for once, then you can use it for many number of times. That is the advantage we are going to get for reusability concept. Okay, that is one of the most advantage we are going to get with functions. Suppose if you want to perform addition, so you have used a function to develop addition code. So whenever you require addition, then directly use this addition code function, so that you are able to save the time. So that is the advantage you are going to get from the functions. And so see there, benefits. What are the benefits we are going to get from the functions? It provides modularity to the program structure. Modularity in the sense, so instead of writing, suppose if the program consists of 100 lines, the program consists of 100 lines. So instead of writing a complete program with 100 lines, what you are going to do, we are going to divide the program into 4 parts. Like this, one function with 25 lines, and another function with 25 lines, another function with 25 lines. Approximately I am saying. So by doing this, what you are able to do, you are able to reduce the complexity. Yes or no? So how you are able to reduce the complexity? So instead of writing a single program with 100 lines, you are going to divide the program into modules by using the functions. Suppose you are performing arithmetic operations. So one is addition operation, subtraction operation, multiplication operation, and division operation. Okay, so instead of writing all these function operations in single program, what you are doing, one function for addition, one function for subtraction, one function for multiplication, one function for division. So by dividing this, you are able to reduce the complexity. Yes or no? So that is the one of the advantage we are going to get from the functions. It makes the code reusable. Suppose if you develop a function, suppose printf, someone has developed the printf function. So whenever you require to print output to the screen, then what you are doing, you are directly using the printf function. You are not writing the code for printf function, right? So if you once developed the printf function code, then n number of times you are able to use it. So that is the reusability of the function concept. And in case of large programs with thousands of code lines, debugging and editing becomes easier if you use functions. Debugging in the sense, what is the debugging? The process of identifying the errors. Yes or no? So instead of searching for 100 lines program, if you are able to divide into 4 modules, then it is easy for us, it is convenient for us to identify the code in the 25 lines, right? So the editing and the debugging makes easier if you are going with function concept. Okay. And easy to understand and readability, when the readability is going to be increased, readability increase with reducing the complexity. If you are able to reduce the complexity, then the readability is going to be increased, right? So if the functions concept is going to be introduced, what is the feasibility we are going to get? We are reducing the complexity. If complexity is reduced, then what we are going to get? Readability is going to be increased. And if the readability is increased, then easy to understand, right? So these are the benefits of the functions. These are the benefits of the functions: modularity, reusability, debugging becomes easier, and readability is going to be increased, and easy to understand the concepts. Okay. And defining a function or declaring a function. How can you declare a function? Function can be declared with the help of this syntax. See there. So here what you are able to find: return type, function name, parameter list. Return type, function name, parameter list, and the body of the function. Already you have discussed. So we people have written void main like this. So what is the return type? Void. Void indicates nothing is going to be written from the function. Main is a function, and empty parenthesis indicates there are no parameter which is passed to the function, and open brace, close brace. So this is the body of the function, right? So return type in the sense the value which is returning from the function. Okay, the value which is returning from the function. Suppose if I write like this integer main, then what is going to be happen? This main is a function which is going to return integer value. Return in the sense it is sending out from from this function, it is sending a value. The value data type is integer. Okay, return type. So the value which is returning from the function, type in the sense data type. So whatever the value which is returning from the function, so that value's data type is return type. I'm clear with you. Suppose addition function, if you are going to write add function, here I wrote integer, then what it indicates? Add is a function which is going to return a value, that value's data type is integer. So that is the return type. And the function name, as usual, the variable name concept is going to be used for function name. And parameter, what is a parameter? It is a value which is passed to the function. So remember one thing, so here return type is the output and parameter is the input. Return type is a output, parameter is a input. So whatever the values if you want to pass it to the function, those passing values are going to be considered as parameters. Okay. So parameter is a value which is passed to the function, and return value is a value which is received from the function. So we are giving input to the function through parameters, and we are getting from the output from the function through return value. Clear? The data type of the return value is return type, and the values which are passed to the function are parameter list. Am I clear with you? And the function body. Function body consists of set of statements which are used to perform that particular task. So this is about the function definition. So are declaring a function. Whenever you are going to declare a function, what you have to do? You have to keep in mind return type, function name, parameter list. And then coming to the classification of functions, or how can we pass the parameters to the function. So passing the parameters with arguments, without arguments, with arguments, without arguments. With arguments in the sense by passing a value with parameter list, and without passing any value to the function without arguments, just like main function. Main is a function in which we cannot pass any values. Yes or no? Generally what we can write? Main, main, open brace, close brace. What it indicates? It is empty parameters. We are not passing any arguments to this function. Argument is a value which is passed to the function. Argument and parameter. Okay, so argument is a value which is passed to the function. So the function can be declared in two ways: with arguments, without arguments. With arguments in the sense the values we can pass to the function, or the values we cannot pass to the function. So that is the with and without arguments. And coming to the user defined function classification, there are four ways based on the presence of arguments and based on the presence of return value. The functions are classified into four types. Okay, the function with no arguments, no return value. I told with you two things. What is that? Input and output. What is the input? Input is an argument which is passed to the function. Output is a return value which is received from the function. So based on the presence of input and output, what you are going to decide? What you are going to decide? So a function, arguments and return value, both are present. Argument present, return value absent, and argument absent, return value present, both are absent. How many combinations? Four combinations. Argument present, return value present, argument present, return value absent, argument absent, return value present, argument absent, return value absent. So like this we are going to get the four combinations. So those are the four combinations we are able to use for classifying the functions. A function with no arguments, no return value. So here what you are able to find? Argument is absent, return value is absent. This is a function kind where we are not passing any value to the function. We are not receiving any value from the function. Not passing to the function, not receiving from the function. And with no arguments in the sense what it means? We are not passing a value to the function. We are receiving a value from the function. We are receiving value but not passing value. Here we are passing the value. We are not receiving the values. Here we are passing the values. We are receiving the values. Clear? Like this, there are four combinations based on the presence of arguments and return value. So there are four combinations. What are the four combinations? So a function with no arguments and no return value, a function with no arguments and return value, a function with arguments and no return value, a function with arguments and a return value. And let me see the example for function with no arguments and no return value. So in this case, what you are going to do, a function, we are not passing any value to the function, we are not receiving any value from the function. See this? So here I am going to declare a function. Return type is void. Void indicates nothing is going to be returned. Great num is a function name and we are not passing any values. What you are doing here? Great num function, again we are going to define. Okay, and void great num. Here great num function called return great num. Then what you are going to do? You are going to so just actually it is a main function. Directly you can write main function, and integer two numbers we are passing. If I greater than j, the greater number is %ld, else the greater number is %l. Like this we are going to write a program. So here we are not using any passing values and no return values. So second kind of method is a function where we are going to use no arguments but returning a value. See this integer argument great num. So what is this indicates? This is a function where we are going to get the return type integer. That means we are returning a value which data type is return integer. So here we are going to declare integer result equal to great num, and then result is going to be printed here. Clear? See this two numbers we are reading, and if I greater than j, great number equal to I, if I less than j, greater number equal to j, then what is going to be written? Greater numbers. So from this function we are going to sending out greater number. So what is the data type of this greater number? Integer. So that will be reflected here. Clear? So this is the function with no arguments and return value. And if you look at this function with arguments, no return value, that means we are able to pass the values but we are not returning any value. See this integer main. So here what we are going to do, we are returning a value, data type is integer, and we are writing a function for reading the values, and we are going to use the function C here, rate num. What we are doing here, we are passing two values. What are the two values? I and j. I and j. So what are the I and j? Arguments. See the great num function, two arguments we are passing, integer x, integer y. If x greater than y, then we are going to print the value, the greatest value is x, else the greatest value is y. But from this function we are not getting any return value. What we are doing, we are passing the values, but we are not returning any values. Void indicates there are no return values. So this is a function which is an example for a function with arguments and no return values. So here we are passing the values, but we are not returning any values. Clear? And function with arguments and return values. See this function. Great num is a function where we are passing two values, integer x and integer y. Clear? So two values we are passing, and we are returning x or y. So what is the data type of x? Data type of x is integer, so the return type is integer. So here we are returning the value, we are passing the value. So this is a function which is an example for a function with arguments and return value. Like this, there are four kinds of functions. One is a function with no arguments, no return value, a function with arguments, no return value, a function no arguments with return value, a function with arguments and with return value. Like this, based on the presence of and absence of arguments and return value, there are four classifications just now we have seen. And continuation to this topic, the types of function calls, call by value and call by reference. So whenever what is a function call? Just now we have seen a function can be invoked. A function can be invoked. So by passing a value or by passing a reference. Okay, reference in the sense address. Okay, how can you store the address of a particular variable? Pointers are required. Already we discussed about the pointers concept. Pointer is a special kind of variable which is capable to hold the address of another value. So here the functions can be called in two ways: call by value, call by reference. That means we are able to pass the value or we are able to pass the address of a value. I will tell you one simple thing. Suppose add is a function. Okay, add is a function. What you can do, so you are going to pass x comma y. What are x comma y? So these are the values of x and value of y you are able to pass. Otherwise I am going to write a add function. So here what I am doing, address of x comma address of y. Like this also we are able to do. So we can pass the direct value to the function, or we can pass the address of x and address of y. So what is the address of x? Address of x in the computer's memory location, the x is going to occupy some address, right? Some 4678. So this is another value variable, that is y. So that is some 4700. So here I have stored 10, here I have stored 20. So if I do like x and y, directly I want to pass 10 and 20. Otherwise I am able to pass address of x and address of y. So 4678 and 4700. So whatever the values which are stored at 4678 and 4700 are going to be passed to the add function. So let me take add 1, add 2. So in add 1 what you are doing? Directly you are passing the values. In add 2 what you are doing? You are passing the addresses. Like this, the values can be passed in two ways: call by value, call by reference. Clear? And if you take an example, see there, what you are doing here, one main function is going to be defined, and CALC, a function we are going to declare CALC. X indicates the value which is passed to the function. What is the value you are passing? Integer value you are going to pass, and then you are going to print the value of x. And if you are going to define the calc function, what is going to be happen? Calc is a function which is not having any return value, and it is accepting one argument. What is that? Integer x, which is passed from the main function, right? So x is equal to x plus 10. The value of x is calc function is percentage x. So here this is a simple program where we are going to define a function, and by passing a value, call by value. So here we are going to call the function by passing a value. We are going to call the function by passing the value. So this is a calling function, this is a called function. The functions are going to be again categorized two types: called, calling. Called means the function which is invoking another function. Calling means a function which is invoked by another function. Here calc is a function which is called by main. Main is a function which is invoking calc. So main is a calling function, calc is a called function. Calc is a called function, main is a calling function. Who is calling here? Main is calling. Which function? Calc function. So calc is a calling function, main is a called function. Sorry, main is a calling function, calc is a called function. So this called function is invoked by another function. If you see this, here we are going to define integer star p. What is the star p? Here we are integer x, here integer star p. So that means we are passing address. We are passing address. See there, we are going to define a function and calc. Here what you are going to pass? Here function is called by passing the address of x. Here we are going to function is called by passing a value of x. Here address of x, here value of x. And in order to store the address of x, what is required? Pointer variable is required. In order to store the value of x, what is required? Normal variable is required. That is the difference. Try to understand carefully. Here we are going to call a function by passing a value. Here we are going to calling a function by passing the address of a variable. Address of a variable. In order to store the address of a variable, what is required? Pointer is required. In order to store the value of x, what is required? Normal variable is required. So like this, we are going to define the pointer, and we are going to call the function in two ways, by calling by value, call by reference. For passing array to function, so we are able to pass array as a parameter. There are two possible ways to do this. We can directly write like this, integer array like this, or we can use the pointer. Already I told you, pointer is a variable which can capable to allocate the memory dynamically. So you can declare like this, or you can declare like this. So array is capable of holding multiple values together, right? So if you want to pass an array of values to the function, then you can declare like this. Otherwise, if you want to pass a values array of multiple values but dynamic memory allocation, that is, then you can use the pointer declaration. What is static and what is dynamic? If it is static, you need to define the memory, or you need to allocate the memory for the variable before before assigning the values. And if it is a dynamic allocation, you have to declare a variables, and whenever the values are going to be assigned, then the memory is going to be allocated based on the assignment. Suppose I will tell you, see this, some integer x, that means x is allocated with 2 bytes of memory. So if you are not going to assign the value also, already 2 bytes of memory is assigned. Suppose if you declare integer star y, what is star y? Pointer. So whenever you are going to assign the value to the 10, then only memory is allocated for y, otherwise memory is not allocated for y. So that is the basic difference between static and dynamic allocation. If you are going to pass multiple values, then you can declare like this. Otherwise, if you want to pass multiple values but at the time of dynamically, that means how many values you want to pass, that you are not aware of, then you can go for a pointer declaration. Returning array from functions. So you can return arrays. So using this syntax, we are able to specify that array can be returned any values. And one more important concept is recursion. What is recursion? Self calling itself. In a program allows to call a function inside the same function. Suppose if you are able to write like this, main is a function inside main. What is this? Calling function, called function. Calling function, called function. Calling function is main, called function is main. If any function which is able to call itself, if any function which is able to call itself, that is the concept of recursion. Okay. If any program allows you to call a function inside the same function, then it is called a recursive function. So this is the concept of recursive function. And if you see the program for example for recursion, then it is easy for you. So here we are going to write a void main, enter a number, we are reading the value, and we are going to write factorial. What is the function name we are going to use? Factorial of a. Factorial of a. Okay. See the factorial function. how you are going to define the factorial function? The name of the function is factorial, and what you are passing, integer x. The value which is reading from main function is passed to the factorial function. Then suppose if I am reading 5, I am going to assign the value for a is 5. That 5 is passed to the x. Here we have used x, here we have used a. Did you identify? So this is actual argument. What is this? Actual argument. This is formal argument. Formal argument. Actual argument and formal argument may or may not be same. Here if you are going to use a, you can use here also a, no issue. Otherwise you can declare another variable also. Okay. For actual argument, in the sense the value which is sending from main calling function to called function, calling function to called function, or main program to sub program. So that is the actual argument. And formal argument, in the sense the value which is declared in the called function, right? So here actual argument and formal argument may not be same. So you can declare, you can use a, if you are using a here also you can use a, or you can use other variable, no issue. But the value which is passed from assigned for a is assigned for x. The values are same. Suppose here a you are going to assign 5, then x becomes 5. If you are going to assign 10, then x becomes 10. Okay, whatever the value which you are passing to the a, the same value is going to be assigned for x. Clear? And then here if you see here, if x equals 1, then it is going to return 1. Otherwise it is going to return r equal to x into factorial of x minus 1. Factorial of x minus 1. So here the sentence splitted here. So x into factorial of x minus 1. So here factorial function calling itself factorial. Here again a function with single argument. A function with single argument. I will tell you explanation. See this. So what you are going to do, factorial function, right? Factorial function. Factorial of what? Factorial of 4 I want to find out. Okay, in the main function what I did, I am going to pass a value 4. I have read the value 4, that passing to the factorial function. So what I am doing, if what is this, x or a, whatever it is, if x equals to 1, then it is going to return 1. Otherwise what it is going to return? What it is going to return? Whatever the value we are going to read into fact of 4 minus 1. Then what is going to happen? Fact of 3. Again this is going to be called, again what is going to happen? 3 equals to 1. 3 equals to 1. Avutunda? Avadu. Condition fail. Then what is going to happen? 3 into fact of 3 minus 1. What is going to happen? 2. Antena? So again this function is going to be called, again 2 equals to 1. Condition fails. Again 2 into fact of 2 minus 1. Then 2 minus 1 in the sense 1. 1 equals to 1. Condition true. Then 1 is going to be written. Finally what is going to be written? 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So what is this? This is the factorial value of 4. Okay. Like this we are going to execute the function with same by calling itself. Here what you are able to see, a function which is calling itself. A function which is calling itself. This is the best example for factorial recursion program. So in case of recursion, what you are going to see, a function which is able to call itself. Okay. And one more example here I have given, Fibonacci series. The same kind of concept. Here also what you are able to find, a function which is going to be called itself. Okay. And so this is about functions. So what we have discussed about what is a function and what is a calling function, what is a called function, what is the actual argument, what is formal argument, what is mean by argument, what is mean by return type. Okay. And then one, based on the presence of argument and return value, how many classifications are there and what is the recursion. So these are the important topics of functions. Okay. I hope you understand the concepts. If you find any difficulty or if you find any doubts, you can post the queries. I am here to give the reply. Okay. Thank you.